Morning everyone, welcome along. Fairly impromptu video. I just wanted to check out if I've managed to sort out the whole frame rate situation of the lipo stream that I did last night. That wasn't great with the video, so adjusted some settings and hopefully it's going to be better. I thought I'd strip and rebuild my X-ray, which I haven't done since running it last time out at Eastbourne, and why not do a little video on it. And this is pretty much what I would do going into a race. So after I've come off track waiting for the next run, I then go through this process in preparation for the next race. So first thing I would do is take the center shock off, which is a new change to the X-ray, in that you've now got to take the center shock off to get your lipo out. Not a massive fan of it, but there's worse things that you can have to do. Hopefully you're liking the new whiteboard a bit better, isn't it? Being able to see the car a bit clearer. So take the center shock off, and then I'd usually start at the rear and whip the pinion off. And what I do is, well, we've got a timer here, so we start at 1:42, and we'll see how long this takes me. I'm not going to rush. I'm just going to go at my usual pace, and that way you have an idea of how long it should take you to reset your car. I think it's, one thing in 12 scale is that you want to make sure that you put your car down and it drives the same as it did last time. It drives straight, not twisted, and it's not tweaked. And that is, as we all know, it is a huge part of the battle with 12 scale, making sure you've got your car all nice and straight. So I'd whip the motor out. Take the back of the top plate off. Get myself some kitchen roll. Pop all the bits on there that are dirty. And then on the other side, a bit of kitchen roll for the bits that are all clean. Simple stuff, really. I'll take the cross brace off. Last time out, I was playing with the flex of the chassis, so the flex of the top deck. So I'd taken out these middle bolts here, so you'd have to take those out as well normally. That's off. You start to see already how it's really quite filthy with all that tyre dust. Go as far as to take the side links off. Because last time we were at Eastbourne, and obviously I was doing some back-to-back testing with my Schumacher E4. I didn't really have too much time to, well, I didn't have any time to truly reset the car. Fortunately, I didn't do too much in the way of crashing. Just set that aside. Now I've got the pod plate reset. Just going to, if I can find my toolbox here. There she is. Push that away. Inside. You can see there's quite a lot of crap that's come off it all. So far so good with the video. Hopefully that stays that way. So it would appear the pod was twisted for quite some way, which is not ideal. Hopefully I haven't bent that. I'm just thinking back, I did give it a half decent whack. She's definitely not flat, that's for sure. Yep. Let's take that off. Okay, so as soon as I've taken that rear brace off, now the pod has become completely flat again. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Never experienced that before. Yeah, perfectly flat. Interesting. So that rear brace there was the thing that was causing the pod to twist. Now I did a video on the X-ray where you need to balance the pod up, because if you're running a Trinity X Factor motor, because the balance point is different to the hobby wing, you need to rebalance the pod, and I've just got 5 grams of weight on the pinion side of the pod, just butted up against the bulkhead there. So I'm happy that that pod is perfectly flat, perfectly straight, so I don't need to don't need to take those bolts off. So let's see, all being well, that should now have a nice straight pod again. That was quite twisted, to be fair. When you're doing these bolts up, don't do them all tight at the same time. do, I'm going to push the pod plate onto the deck. I'm going to tighten up those back bolts as I do so. Yep, the pod's still flat. So if you're checking, you want to check your pod, put your finger in the pivot, tap the side, pivot, tap the side, tap the back, put it in the middle of the back plate, tap the side, just so you've got a fixed point. Usual places where it bends are these winglets here on the outside. It tends to turn up and then it starts to get all a little bit twisted. So, but no, it's all nice and flat. So that's that done. And then what you want to do is you need to put the top on, because this is another potential point that could twist the car, or twist the pod. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a clean. Dust that off. So when you've come off track and then go back to your workbench, I think even if I've given it a bit of a whack, or if I've given it a bit of a whack, I would just do this as a matter of course. I wouldn't start checking to see if it's tweaked or not. I'd just go through it just for peace of mind that the car is going to be straight when I stick it back down again. I just don't think there's anything to be lost by it. If you want to go and have a cup of coffee and a chat with your pals, well, do that, but understand that you could then spend your next 8-minute race with a bent car. So that's all now nice and flat. Perfecto. What I'd then do is with the bearings, fire a bit of cleaner through those, flip them over, go both sides. Let those rest. Get out some bearing oil. Wherever it is. And then I'll just do that. Hello, sweetheart. Say again. The wife coming home. There goes to the side. Oops. In. So that's all clean that side. Give that a dust off. Nothing really to do in terms of resetting that. I'm going to get all the brake dust away. So you can see how much crap comes out of the car. What I'll do is I'll unsolder that motor and give that a clean out as well. Give this a dust. Clean. And then give the dampers a clean. And slide it into a cap. On the flies, there they are. So because I'm not going to be doing any racing for the next few weeks, obviously, I'm not going to put any oil in these. I'm just going to clean them out. So how long are we up to so far? So we are 16 minutes in, and the bulk of the work is going to have been done really. It's just the rear that's a bit more time consuming. Yeah, especially with these new rear front ends. Rear is a bit more time consuming than the front end. Sometimes you can do it in from the top. Oops. Push it off from the bottom. Perfect. And put the cross brace on. Like I might have said a few times before, if you can get into a routine of this, you then know that your car is always going back square. Snap. Motor goes back in. a little bit of a brush. Now those bearings have had a time to soak. Pop those in. Make sure you put your spacers in the right side. As I said before, I'd get myself a little 0.2 shim and pop it in there to make sure that I've got the gap, or just the right size gap there, so I don't push the axle, the hub axles, the stub axles too tight together. Then I would obviously put the oil into the damper tubes. I'm going to push that back in because I'm going to take that motor out, but I would do that along the way. So that's the rear done, and that's taken me 20 minutes. Be a bit quicker than that if I was doing it without talking you through it. Now I'm going to take the front end off. Looks like the camera is still behaving. Okay. And then we're doing something as simple as taking them off in the same order. Just make sure that you put them back as they were. Fire some brake cleaner in there. You know what? I'm going to take that off. A bit of dust. So remember, I'll do this every run, bar none. Interesting. couple of the O-rings have perished. So need a couple of new O-rings, which I do believe I've got in the box. So couple of those out. There we go. So, pop a couple of those on. Okay, it's easier said than done. Take that top deck off. When I got this whiteboard, I didn't realise how useful it is going to be to make sure that you can see all your bolts. Been using like a black worktop forever, and we use black bolts. It's like how many times you spend just sometimes just can't see a bolt. It's alright for you lot that are 20 years old and got perfect eyesight. But us 40 somethings. There we go. That's lovely. Put that crossbows back on. Top there. This is the first time I've taken it apart and put it back together. That's something that's quite important. I put this brace and bolted it down with it on top of the cross brace at the back there. Make sure that sits underneath it. obvious, but might not be. It was myself, G, and Stu Barber that went down to Eastbourne and ran these cars, and there was lots of stuff going on social media about these bottom braces snapping, and honestly, we gave the cars a serious whack, a good couple of times, and we had absolutely zero issues with them. So if you are thinking about getting an X-ray, you shouldn't have any worries there, because it really is, as far as I'm concerned, not an issue with the fragility of the bottom arm. There's a spray. Get rid of all the shit on those. Again, we'd normally put some oil on those pins, but I'm not going to, because I'm not racing. Let's spin the dust off. Back on. The arm back on. And by putting the pinion back on, she's done. So that's taken 31 minutes, half an hour, to reset the car. And I tell you, it's the best half an hour you'll spend at any race meeting. Because to know that your car is going to go back down straight, as far as I'm concerned, is essential. And I've still managed to lose a bulb. No, there she is then. It's the best half an hour you'll spend, because crucial that if you've waited an hour, and maybe a touch more depending on the size of the event you're at, that when you put your car back on the track, that it's ready, drive straight, and it's going to give you every opportunity to have the best run possible. Put that onto there. at this. And there we go. Fully reset X-ray X12 21 car. Very simple process. It just takes a little bit of time, half an hour, to get that all back to straight again. You could see how the pod was really quite out of shape at the rear, and at the front the O-rings had actually perished and needed replacing. So you'll come across little bits along the way that you'll pick up as you do this good car maintenance. Car maintenance is top of the pile, really, really important. Hope you've enjoyed that. If you haven't done already, subscribe to the channel, click the like button, that would be much appreciated, and look forward to seeing you all sometime soon trackside. All the best.